So while I had the chance to try out Gran Turismo 7, I wanted to give a go the license tests. Known for being quite difficult in Gran Turismo, and with the limited time I had, I wanted to jump straight to the Super License, just to give myself the biggest challenge that I could and just see how difficult they truly are these days. The first of the Super License tests is at the high-speed ring in a Lamborghini Huracan, I believe this is. So as we're heading down towards turn 2 of the high-speed ring, on this attempt, as just a bit too late on the brakes, getting used to the car, and for the next 4 attempts, it'll be something similar. On the 6th attempt then, get round to the final corner, not too far behind the Ghost, into this final corner, not a great line through the long left-hander, just trying to keep the throttle pinned around the exit to carry speed onto the start-finish straight, and I would run wide into the wall. Next time though would be my first full complete attempt at getting a full lap together. So as we ride on board, keeping up high, entering turn 1, then coming down a little bit lower towards their part to make sure we keep out of the wall, then braking for turn 2 by halfway between 150 and the 100 meter braking board, using all of the banking up high towards the wall, not quite as high as the Ghost car is, so losing a little bit of ground there through turn 2. Into turn 3 now, go try and send in a little bit deep, serve a little bit wide of the apex the whole way round, but not losing too much time then, getting to the right hand side, trying to open up this left-hander a little bit, just holding the car round through the constant radius left-hander. Then a couple of corners to go up to the left-hand side to open up this long right-hander, taking a little bit of a lift to make sure we're not as tight into this final corner, then getting wide, trying to use the banking, not as confident to get as close to the wall as the Ghost car is. Certainly getting close though on the exit as we plant the throttle, and for the first license test we come up to the line and we will get gold by just under 0.4 of a second, 110.7 for the first license test. On to the second one then, and we go to a track that's much more familiar for me, the Monza circuit for the Italian Grand Prix in a Ferrari F50 this time. A lot of big braking zones here, will be quite the challenge. So as we head down to turn 1, we're going to try and pick the braking point out using the 200 meter board into the first chicane. A little bit later on the brakes than the Ghost car, you just see it in the rear view mirror in the braking zone through the first couple of corners, not carrying as much speed as the Ghost car through there, but that's alright, it's still our first attempt. Up through the gears into Curve Grande now, just running a little bit wide, having to take a quick lift as we head towards the second chicane. Go try and spot our braking point here just before the 150 meter board, just a little bit too late, carrying too much speed as we got to the apex, and we would do the same for the next couple of attempts to just try and get the braking zone right. So a little bit later, still using about the 150 board, little deep, but getting off the brakes to get the car turned in, and we would make it through though quite a bit behind the Ghost car at this stage. Whether we'd be able to beat the lap time will be a bit uncertain at this point though. We've got the rest of the track to go, still about halfway through as we're heading through the Lesmos now. These are the first time we're attacking the Lesmos, so still a bit of learning to do. Not too bad, not losing too much time compared to the Ghost car. Most of the distance to the Ghost car we'd already lost by after exiting the second chicane, I should say. Coming down to Sky now, going to be braking by 170 meters there, and trying to get turned in just once again, carrying a little bit too much speed, overshooting the corner. We'll be coming down to Sky then for a later attempt. Can we get it right this time? Second time lucky. We do indeed, through the right-hander, not keeping it tight to the right-hand curb. Tightens up the final left-hand part of the chicane up a little bit. So as we head down to the final corner, Parabolica, quite away from the Ghost car in front, trying to spot our braking point here, using the 150 board into Parabolica here. Seems just about alright, can maybe be a slight bit more aggressive. Now trying to put down the power through the second half of the corner, traction control kicking in a little bit, car still sliding around a bit. But we come up to the line to complete our full first completed lap, it'll be a 1:59.2, just under a quarter of a second off. So in the next attempt, we'll try and be a little bit braver into the Parabolka. It'd be a way too brave not getting the car slowed down that time. So we'll have another attempt from the start then, down the start-finish straight, waiting for the braking zone of turn 1. Looking for the braking boards on the left-hand side, there's the 200 braking just before it, getting the car slowed down and turned into the first corner, a slight bit wide of the curb, getting onto the apex curb of turn 2 and trying to get onto the par early, sort of matching the Ghost here seemingly, that car bouncing a bit on the exit curb which you used to just slightly open up the left-hander of the chicane, get on the par that little bit early, keeping a tighter line and holding flat out through the curve of Gran, but dropping back a car length here from the Ghost car, braking about 175 metres, getting the car slowed down, turning in a little bit later to the first part, trying to open up the second part of the chicane, but just not as brave or as quick to the throttle as the Ghost car was, losing another car length or two. Into Lesmo's a little bit more aggressive into there, trying to carry a little bit more speed, a little bit wide of the apex, but we sort of close in a little bit on the Ghost car, and the same can be said for Lesmo too, but getting onto that apex curb and not carrying quite as much momentum on the exit as the Ghost car, so we'll drop back another couple car lengths, but we are still close enough to be on for gold. Down towards the Ascari chicane, braking by 175 metres once again. We'll get the car turned in, taking more curb than the Ghost car through the first apex, a little bit wide through the second part, compromise us slightly through the final part, getting a slide there as we tapped the inside curb, but we'll hold on to the car though, losing another couple of car lengths. Bit of a poor run to down to Parabolka, then braking for Parabolka, 150 metres still, carrying in a little bit more speed than we did on our first time round here, picking up the throttle, being a little bit more careful with it, car not sliding out as much, we keep a little bit closer to the Ghost car, so as we come up to the line, the time will be a 1:58.4, beating the goal time by a bit over half a second. Then on to the third challenge, to Tsukuba, a track I've driven a little bit but not too much of. We're in a Sylvia trading car, I believe that's it. Into turn 1, slightly underestimating how good the brakes are, losing quite a bit of time in the first braking zone. Heading now to the middle hairpin, trying to make sure gets the braking zone as straight as possible, and being a bit more aggressive than we were in turn 1, trying to utilise the grip. As you can see, we've already lost quite a few car lengths in that first braking zone. So just trying to keep up at this point. We've maybe lost another one or two through this middle section up towards the final hairpin now. Maybe once again a little bit early into the hairpin, leaving us a little bit wide through the second half and onto the exit, dropping back even more car lengths. Final corner now, very quick corner, requires a lot of commitment, a lot of bravery through this long right-hander, try and pick up the throttle, pick up a reasonable point, and it's going to be a 59.6, just under 9/10 of the goal time, but getting a full lap in on our first attempt. So our second attempt now, we know a bit more of what the car is capable of. Let's try and push it a bit more, especially into turn 1, braking probably 30 odd metres I'd say later into turn 1, holding that inside curb and sticking much closer to the Ghost car. Now towards the second hairpin, trying to open up the entry a little bit more than the Ghost car, carrying a bit more speed through the first half of the corner, but the Ghost kind of gets us back again on the second part, closing in again on the Ghost into the right-hander. They'll open the gap up just a little bit through the left-hander, and we'll gain a car length on us as we head into the hairpin. Much later on the brakes, are trying to V off the corner and cut back for a better exit, and we do sort of keep up with the Ghost through that section with that different line. One corner to go then through this final corner. Can we be brave enough to take gold? Just sort of following the Ghost here, holding a tighter line for most of the corner. Ghost able to carry more speed on the exit of the long right-hander. It doesn't matter, it's good enough for gold. 58.4, getting that time by just over 3/10. On to the fourth challenge now. Will be a bit of a difficult challenge here in a Supra GT 500 from '97. This is the Tokyo Express circuit, a circuit I've never driven before, so this would be quite the learning experience. And you can see that just not taking, sort of staying in the middle of the track as I head to turn 1, tapping the inside wall too, as I slightly underestimated the capabilities of the car and carrying too little speed through the first corner. So second attempt, more to the racing line on entry, but this time overestimating the car's capabilities, just about holding it out of the outside wall, and able to then carry on down to the next section, down towards the docks. Now we've lost a lot of time from the ghost car, but as I said, this is the first time I've driven this circuit. A lot of learning take place. Braking for the stock section at about 150 board seemed a little bit too early, had to come off the brakes a little bit, but end up running a little bit wide through this triple right-hander. For the final apex, just cutting a little bit too tight and getting done for an off track, and then we ditched another run at turn 1 as well. So on to our fourth attempt now, two of which I haven't made it any further than T1. We get T1 this time into the left-hander. We just about do it to turn out the apex slightly to not hit it, but we make it through, though not as good as the ghost car, as is to be expected still at this stage. Down towards the dock section, we know we can be a little bit braver on brakes here, so braking about 125 meters there and getting the car turned in nicely, a little bit wider than the ghost car through the first two apexes, through the third apex a little bit tighter, and then taking sort of a tire line through the left-hander on the exit, losing about another car length or two as we head now towards the higher speed section of the course. Into this right-hander, judging it pretty decently for the first time through, but not as well, not carrying as much speed out of it as the ghost car, of course. Now heading into the tunnel through these fast sweeping corners, taking a lift just because I simply don't know the course and don't want to lose the run just by going flat out into a corner that is flat out. Now trying a little bit lift through the sort of final right-hander there, heading down towards the hairpin here, braking about 125 meters, which is going to be a bit too late, running quite wide, but trying to cut back to get a good exit. Not a great exit, the car sliding a little bit, trying to put the power down, traction control not kicking in enough to prevent that. But now we've got the final sweeping corners. Once again, precision and bravery needed to carry enough speed through here. Being quite positioning the car quite well through here, but of course not being as brave as I could be. Then into this final left-hander, a little bit tentative on the turn-in, just not knowing exactly what the corner profile is like. But this will be our first full attempt of the Tokyo Express circuit, and it'll be a 2-minute 2.2, just about 2.25 seconds off the gold time. On to then our fifth attempt now, having completed a full lap into turn 1. Decent speed carried through turn 1, had to wait to get on the throttle low to not run into the wall on the outside. Still about matching the ghost car, there it is, by a car length back as we head towards the dock section, but making good improvements through that first corner. Into the dock section now, braking maybe about 120, 115 meters there, which is a little bit too late, running a bit wide through here, losing a bit more time, but trying to make it back on second part, making sure not to cut that final right-hand apex and getting a good line through left-hander. We're back to that sort of car length back from the ghost car. Into the right-hander now, a little bit of a tighter line going into the corner, a little bit wider on the apex, not able to carry the same speed as the ghost car through there. The ghost car very good through that right-hander, so will be tough to beat it there. Through this sweeping section, now confident that yes, we can take this section flat out, so not losing as much time to the ghost, but still just a little bit slower through here because it didn't carry as much speed out of the previous corner. Now towards the hairpin, we know we were a little deep last time, so I go break a little bit earlier. That's by 140 meters, still a little bit wide for the apex. Cut back into the apex, or a similar line to the ghost car in fact, but still the car sliding around a little bit, trying to put the power down. Traction control engaging. We're now into the last sweeper of corners, so go try and be a little bit more aggressive through here, try and carry a little bit more speed. Decent line, decent speed through the first part, through second part, just trying to position the car correctly and not doing too bad of a job now into this final left-hander. Better turning point though, running a bit wide on the exit, was a bit tight on the entry, didn't use the full track width going into that final corner. So as we come up to the line, what will the time be? It just takes over 2 minutes by a tenth and a half off the goal time. So close for what was only the 5th attempt there. So good going. We know we don't need much time to find, but being the racer I am, I want to push for every little tenth that I can. You can see that into the hairpin, big slide coming out, trying to put the power down. That loses us quite a bit of time as we have to get over the throttle to not spin the car completely. Now into the final S's again, trying to be even braver, but a bit too brave this time. We then lose another couple of attempts to turn 1 again, but back to the hairpin now. Even later on the brakes, way too late, couldn't get the car slowed down, losing quite a bit of time there per exit once again as well. But again, it's only a tenth and a half that we need to find. Can we find it through the final section here into the right-hander, trying to carry good speed, running out wide, and once again just a bit too committed into the dock section. Now we're actually ahead of the ghost car for this attempt. You can see it just in the mirror. Hang through here, a little bit of a wide line does let the ghost car get back in front, but we're hoping we can make up the time back on the exit. Carry good speed, but have to lift to avoid the wall on the right-hand side. That allows the ghost car to close up again. Now into this long right-hander, a little bit wide of the inside, just trying to carry speed, get into the left-hand side wall on the exit. Same point again, but this time we're slightly behind the ghost car after turn 1, braking slightly later than the ghost car. Once again closing up, taking a tighter line than it this time through this section, losing out a little bit in the middle part, but once again trying to get the exit, keeping the foot planted and just about keeping the car out of the wall through the final left-hander of this dock section. Now into this long right-hander, a little bit tighter to the apex, but again still running wide, trying to find the time. Heading into the dock section for the third time now, once again in front of the ghost car. You can see it in the mirror, taking a little bit of a wider line, trying to carry a bit more speed through this section once again. Trying to use it to open up the final left-hander, a little bit wide though, didn't quite able to open up as much as I wanted to, still able to carry more speed than the ghost car. Got quite the advantage into the right-hander here, so don't need to be too brave here, trying to hold it, but still just slightly too wide, and we would lose that run as well. This time though, we made it through the opening half cleanly. After the hairpin, we're only by a car length or two back from the ghost car through the S's, and just slightly clipping the inside wall of the penultimate corner. We'd see that attempt go to nothing. So now another full attempt coming up. Can we do it this time? Down towards turn 1, opening up the track as much as possible to the right hand side wall, turning in, getting on the power, running the car right up to the outside wall on the exit. Not enough to equaling the ghost, slightly bidding it there. You can see it just pops into view in the mirror. So about a car length in front as we head down towards the docks, trying to spot our braking point. About 125 meters. Try and carry decent speed into the corner, a little wide, come back for the second apex still. Carrying good speed, trying to keep the car tight to the right hand side as much as you can to open up this final left-hander. Keep your foot planted, and you can see gaining a lot of car length. Sorry, the ghost a bit weak through the dock section. Into this right-hander, you want to carry good speed, get to the throttle early, had to feather out a little bit just to make sure I didn't clip the outside wall, but carrying good speed and holding on to that advantage that I have over the ghost car behind. Through this section, flat out, just make sure you don't scrub off any more speed than is necessary. Use all of the track width. Through here, this final right-hander, get close to the right-hand side, don't tap it. Now I think about this braking for the hairpin, biggest braking zone of the track, by 150 meters braking for, and it's going to be the best apex pretty much that I got all through all of these attempts. Put the power down, a little bit cautious on throttle not to spin up the tyres, as that does lose you a lot of time on the exit. The ghost car has closed in a little bit, but still a few car lengths back, only a few corners to go into this high speed section. through this right-hander, running out wide, but keeping it out of the wall, into this left-hander now, and into the right-hander. Try and keep the car back to the right-hand side to open up this final left-hander. Didn't open it up as much as Ghost Car did, but holding a tighter line through the apex allows me to get onto the throttle a little bit earlier, and once again can see the Ghost Car in the mirror. We have beat the Ghost Car up to the line, and it'll be a definite goal to 158.4, beating the goal time by over 1.5 seconds. Though that's going to be it for today's video. Next time we'll be trying out some more of the super licenses in Gran Turismo 7. So make sure you subscribe to catch that video. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.